didn't have friends. I'll tell you, I wish I knew that we had audio, video. You can see my, what's in my book. You can see a picture if you get my book. I was 4'10", and in 10th grade, 4'10" and 88 pounds. So I was little. I was little. Somewhat prepubescent. I didn't have any facial hair, and I had really long, beautiful hair. I had beautiful hair. In fact, when my mom used to drive me places, and guys from the next car would like honk, and guy, I'm a guy. Nobody knew I was a guy, but I wanted to meet women. I didn't know how to meet women, so then I think, you know what? You women like athletes. But what 4'10", 89-pound guy? What team am I? I don't think. I joined the wrestling team. It was the only team because they have an under 90 weight class. I thought, oh, wait till the girls see me. Then they hand me my uniform. It's a singlet. It's a ladies' one-piece bathing suit. I'm wearing this one-piece bathing suit, and now the germaphobe who won't tie his shoes is rolling around with strange men, sweating men. It was horrible. You were on the team? Yeah. I'm just waiting for the laughter to die down until the day. So anyway, I quit the team, and the way this is terrible. I'm going to tell you this story, but the girls wouldn't talk to me. They didn't know me, but I looked like a girl. So what I did is I would go into the girls' restroom. This is going out live.
I had a Colombian overtone too.
Yes. I didn't grab anything. I didn't see anything. You guys have clothes stalls. I just stood at the mirror and brushed my hair. That's all I did. And people would come out of the stalls, and then they'd start talking to me. It was just hard to break to them. Like if we had a good conversation, we had chemistry, it was hard for me to determine when I should tell them I have a penis. This is pre-Caitlin. This is years ago.
Okay, so
yeah.
Let's go forward. You got that skill for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And you're a carpet salesman, and you had some very unusual ways of mentoring shag carpet.
Any carpet. No, you know what it was? I learned, again, I was totally driven and drugged by the fact of seeing, and I'll equate it, and we'll bring it around to something good in a minute, and I think it's something that kind of is what this whole event and these 3 days are all about, healthcare. I was uncomfortable, so I love awkward. So anytime I could get people in awkward positions, not only was I laughing at it, and my laughter was, instead of, you know, it was my panacea, so I feel in battle, as I sit here right now, you know, I am medicated, and I fight a battle. But I fight a battle each and every moment that I'm alive. But I went and sold carpet, and I loved. It was door to door. I mean, not door to door. Shop at home. And I would go into people's homes, and now I'm in people's homes, and I'm alone, and I'd see a family sitting there, and I knew that I had this captive audience. So I thought it was funny for me to be weird in other people's homes. So like I would measure the house, and then the family would sit down on the couch in the living room. And without saying anything, I would remove my shirt, lie at their feet, and then take a pen and proceed to draw the floor plan. The living room, and the dining room, and this is the hallway. This is the hallway coming off the navel. Okay, where the navel is will be your staircase. I can't put a staircase there, but this is the hallway, and and I would lie there, and you'd see, it was just uncomfortable because nobody will say, but they just sit there uncomfortably, and I would go, okay, you want the green plush in the living room, but we should use something with more in the hallway, and I get around, and after a while, it would become so normal, and that's when I liked it, where I'd have the wife going, no, 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 we want the green plush here in the hallway, and I'd be lying down, and they'd be touching, the whole family would be, this was the drawing. And nobody would even question it. I'm amazed that people don't go, what are you doing? You know, and that's become the basis of my whole life. That's become the basis, that's my campaign. The reason I said yes to this, you know, is because, and this is not what today's about, you can ask me any question you want, is because the lovely people at Bell let me be part of Let's Talk. And in my book, I talk about, I was really aware, I've been with my wife for 40 years, I have 3 kids, I have 2 grandchildren, and there was a time, maybe 20 years ago, that my wife was at her wit's end. Living with, these are all funny stories, but living with somebody who struggles so much is an incredible burden. And she said, you have to go get help. And I got help, and I was getting help, and I was doing fine. And then one day, and that's at the beginning of the book, I was on the Howard Stern show. And I was on the Howard Stern show with, is anybody here ever seen, there's a guy that, puppetry of the penis.
I haven't seen that.
Sure, yeah. I know everybody in Thunder Bay has. But anyway, he was doing things with his member, and then he left. And I, because of my OCD, was focused on his hand, and he touched the door, and then I stayed in the studio, and I was like, I couldn't hear anything. It was like that Charlie Brown sketch. I couldn't hear anything, and I was just waiting. In my mind, how do I get out? How am I gonna touch the door? I can't touch the door. I can't. So anyway, we finished my interview, and I go to leave, and I say, "Can somebody get the door?" And he goes, "Why?" I go, "I don't want to touch the door." That guy. He goes, "Touch the door." And I go, "I'm not going to touch the door." And I look for a tissue. I go to grab a tissue. They pull the tissue away from me. I go and pull down my sleeve. They're holding my sleeve. They go to grab the door. And I started having a real anxiety attack, and I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was having a heart attack. And I finally just said it, blurted out. I was at the end of my wits. I said, "I'm going to die." You don't understand, Howard. I have OCD. I go see a psychiatrist. This is a real problem. I'm medicated. Please, just open the door. I can't breathe. So they opened the door, and the door shut behind me. And in that moment, I thought, oh, and then I realized it was still broadcasting. It was still broadcasting. And this is in the 80s, you know? So I went, oh my God, I just said I go to a psychiatrist. And I just said that I have mental health problems. Oh my God, first and foremost, I have a family and I have 3 children. I probably just embarrassed them. They're not gonna be able to show their face anywhere. Number 2, I'm never gonna have another job. Who's gonna hire a mentally ill person who's on medication? This is horrible. And I remember walking down the hall and getting into the elevator, and it just got darker and darker, and I was in this zone. And I remember going downstairs in this building. I was in Manhattan, and I walked through the door, and I walked out into this bustling street in Manhattan. It was millions of people going by, and tons of traffic going by, and thinking, maybe I should just run into the traffic. Maybe I should end it. I just ruined my life, my family's life, my career. And just as I was going to do it, I couldn't hear anything. A voice came up beside me. There was a man just walked up beside me. He goes, "Are you Howie Mandel?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Were you just on Stern?" And I said, "Yeah." And I thought, this is it. And the 2 words that changed my life is he went, "Me too." I went, "What?" He goes, "Me too. I suffer from that too." And it was the first time that I ever had a conversation with anybody outside of my doctors, my wife, and I realized, and this is before, you know, that we all had social media, and we were all tweeting, and we were all doing that, I realized, and I started getting letters, and it started opening up a discussion, and I realized, oh my God, my whole life, and I think this goes for each and every one of us, we feel very alone. You have thoughts going on in your head, you go, oh boy, if they could just know what I'm thinking. But all of us are very alone. We're all very unique, and we're all very, and what I've come to, and I'm gonna bring this full circle, I think this is the answer to absolutely everything in our world. And it starts with healthcare. And let me tell you what I think the deal is, you know? With everything that you talk about that goes on in the news, whether it's ISIS, whether it's a kid walking into a school and shooting people up, whether it's you not being in a good relationship, whether it's you not being productive at work, these are all mental health issues. And whether you have OCD or ADHD, what is the real crime in our world today, and maybe we can change it up here in Canada, but the real crime, because we have socialized medicine, is that mental health is not taken care of. There is still a stigma. We don't talk about it. You don't create the same. I go talk on Capitol Hill in the States. I'll go to the White House and try to get the insurance companies to mirror the same kind of money that is given toward physical health to mental health. And it should be part of our curriculum. You know, each and every day, from the day we're born, our parents will take us to a dentist to get x-rays. Nothing hurts, nothing about what, we just get checked. But nobody takes us to somebody that can ask 5, 6 questions and maybe get a sign or a flag, or just figure out, you know, somebody, when we get married or we have a child, there's nothing in place as soon as they hand you a child. Somebody said, you know, here's some coping skills. We all need coping skills. You guys are in the health industry. You know, just to be more productive. How do we, you can't in the middle of the day, you can go, oh, my tooth is hurting, I may need root canal, I'm gonna go see the dentist.